everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 most played cards in Modern. Now note that most of these cards are either sideboard cards or cards played in a few of the most popular decks, but we're going to jump right into it with the 5th most played card in Modern. Is Wear Tear. Wear Tear is a split card with Fuse, so you can do both sides at once, where one side is 2 mana, destroy target artifact, and then the Tear side is 1 mana, destroy target enchantment. This card is played in about 27% of decks, so the average number played being around 1.6. And the reason this card is played in so many decks is because it is some of the cheapest instant speed interactions with enchantments and artifacts, but also it can be brought in a lot of different situations, whether you're just targeting enchantments or just targeting artifacts or can fuse them against the deck. It's just like a really diverse and decent card to play in these boards of red-white decks. In 4th is Wrath of the Skies. Wrath of the Skies is a white X sorcery where you get X energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy played this way. This card is played in about 28% of decks, with the average number played again being 1.6. Wrath of the Skies answers a lot of different things. One, it just like totally destroys the artifact deck. Also very good against enchantments, especially if there's a lot of enchantments, against small creatures, and it's even being played in those small creature decks like energy to combat these other things as well. It's just like really diverse, and not just a Day of Judgment is much better than that. And third is Ormchant. Ormchant is a 1 mana instant with kicker for an additional white mana. Target player can't cast spells this turn. If the spell is kicked, creatures can attack this turn. It is played in 29% of decks, with the average number played being 2.3. The biggest reason we're playing Ormchant is to be able to beat Storm. You can let them storm some amount and then cast Ormchant, and then they just kind of fizzle out. Additionally, it's like fine against Prowess. It's pretty good against Amulet Titan because they can let them do their thing and then you can just have them not attack, which is pretty cool. It's just like a super powerful card. Also played in Ruby Storm actually, to be able to beat counterspells and the mirror matches and things like that. It's just like really diverse, and it's really cool that it's just like adjusts better silence. The second most played card in Modern is Fage, Titan of Fire's Fury. It is played in 31% of decks, and the average number played is 3.5. Fage is a 3 mana 6/6 Elder Giant. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. And its escape is 4 mana. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard to bring it back from the graveyard, and then it doesn't get sacrificed, and it's a 6/6. So interesting thing about Fage is it possesses this really cool thing where in the mid game it can stop your opponent's aggro, or at least slow it down really dramatically by just being like a 3 mana lightning helix. And then in the late mid game and the late game, it gets to be this crazy inevitability it's able to add to Boros Energy and like Domain Zoo. It forces your opponent to side in Graveyard Hate and like Surgical Extractions and stuff like that as answers to Flage, because if the game goes long and your opponent is a Flage deck, you will lose. Like you will just lose to the Flage unless you are willing to hemorrhage value by answering it over and over and being dealt a ton of damage and all that stuff. It's also being played in the sideboard of Ruby Storm to be able to wish out, and also play that really long game, like how when Ruby Storm just kind of loses sometimes and get hated out and burn out, they can just grab the Flage and win through that, like in the same way energy does. And then the most popular card in Modern, the most played card in Modern, is Consign to Memory. Consign to Memory is played in 41% of decks, nearly half, which is wild. And the average number played is 3.7, so almost a playset is the average number played. Consign to Memory is a 1 mana instant with Replicate 1. Counter target triggered ability or colorless spell. So Consign to Memory is very good against Amulet Titan, because it can stop the triggered abilities of like the Titan and whatever from happening. Very good against Ruby Storm. It counters Ruby Medallion and counters the Storm trigger. Decent against Belcher. It counters Belcher. Insane against Eldrazi Ramp because it counters the triggered ability from casting the Eldrazi and counters most of the Eldrazi as well. I could go on and on. If you're playing blue, you should be playing Consign to Memory. It just comes in against over half of the decks, and a lot of decks are splashing blue sort of for it sometimes. This card is absolutely disgusting, incredibly undercosted for what it is, and turns games around entirely. But those are the top 5 modern cards, the top 5 most played modern cards. If you liked this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.